This is what you need to know now. 4 dead in a shootout off the coast of Cuba. Havana claims they were trying to unleash terrorism on the island. The Clintons begin their deposition to the congressional committee investigating Jeffrey Epstein. President Trump's Surgeon General nominee grilled over her stance on vaccines as measles surge across the U.S.
I do believe that each patient, mother, parent needs to have a conversation with their pediatrician.
Can the U.S. make a deal with Iran? Talks resume today. The U.S. military buildup continues. And the miracle baby finally home from the ICU. How miracles run in her family. We have much more what you need to know now. I'm James Longman from ABC News. It's Thursday, February 26th, and this is what you need to know. We'll get right to the Clintons' Epstein deposition in just a moment. But first, the other big story. 4 people reportedly shot dead by Cuban border guards in a U.S.-registered speedboat. The Cuban government says passengers on that Florida boat were trying to carry out an infiltration for terrorist purposes. They say the 4 men who were killed and the 6 that survived and are being detained were Cuban residents of the United States.
We have our embassy on the ground in Havana working this as we speak, asking for access to the people that were on those vessels if they were American citizens or permanent residents.
U.S. law enforcement confirms the American boat was reported stolen from the Florida Keys and is registered to a Miami man born in Cuba. Martha Radat says more.
James, it was a deadly gun battle off the coast of Cuba. 4 people killed aboard a Florida-registered speedboat. 6 more were wounded. Cuban officials claim the speedboat violated its territorial waters. A Cuban border guard patrol boat claiming that as they approached to identify who was on board, the crew of the speedboat opened fire first, wounding the Cuban commander. Those Cuban troops then returning fire, according to Cuban officials, killing those 4 people on the speedboat before evacuating the wounded for medical treatment. This all coming as U.S.-Cuba relationships have been on a knife's edge following the U.S. seizure of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, Cuba's main energy ally. The U.S. Coast Guard is now off the coast of Cuba. Secretary Rubio says he does not trust the Cuban account and the U.S. will do its own investigation, and noted it is highly unusual to see a shootout in the open seas off of Cuba.
Hillary Clinton will give a closed-door deposition today before the House Oversight Committee investigating Jeffrey Epstein's crimes. Bill Clinton is set to appear tomorrow. They had refused to testify in person, so Congress threatened to hold them in criminal contempt. The Clintons have long said they didn't know about Epstein's crimes or those of his associate Ghislaine Maxwell, and say they cut ties with him before his crimes came to light. They have not been accused of any wrongdoing. Hillary says she never met Epstein. This as Democrats sound the alarm over what appeared to be more than 50 pages of documents missing from the DOJ's Epstein files release, which detail a sexual assault allegation made against President Trump. The Justice Department says it's reviewing whether some reports were improperly tagged. An index of witness materials prepared in advance of Ghislaine Maxwell's trial suggests FBI agents interviewed a woman 4 times who says Trump assaulted her when she was a minor. But an ABC News search of the archive found a report of just 1 of the meetings. Trump has previously denied the woman's allegations. Meanwhile, some of the powerful men who have had to acknowledge their association with Epstein are facing consequences of sorts. Former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers is now retiring from Harvard after years of emails with Epstein came to light. In a statement, Summers said it was a difficult decision. In 2025, he said he had, quote, great regrets about his association with Epstein, calling it a major error in judgment. And Nobel laureate Richard Axel has resigned from Columbia University after revelations about his ties to Epstein. Axel's statement says his past association was a serious error in judgment that he deeply regrets. Neither Summers nor Axel have been accused of any wrongdoing. President Trump's pick for Surgeon General faced tough questions on Capitol Hill ahead of a vote on her confirmation. Senators pressed hard on her vaccine views as the measles case count in the U.S. has soared to a 34-year high. Joe O'Brien has the details.
James, President Donald Trump's pick for the next Surgeon General, Dr. Casey Means, repeatedly deflecting when lawmakers here on Capitol Hill pressed her on vaccines. Means is a wellness influencer. She's also a close ally of Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., a longtime vaccine skeptic, and she was pressed by Republican Senator Bill Cassidy of Louisiana, a doctor himself, on the measles shot.
You're the nation's doctor. Would you encourage her to have her child vaccinated?
I'm not an individual's doctor, and every individual needs to talk to their doctor before putting a medication in their body.
Cassidy pressed Means 3 times, and she continued to deflect. She did say, though, that she's never promoted anti-vaccine rhetoric. That's never been, quote-unquote, part of her message. There were some points of bipartisan agreement in that hearing, from Dr. Means' support for healthy foods to the risks of some chemicals on the environment to the impacts of smartphones on mental health. If Means is confirmed, she will be entrusted with messaging public health to the entire country.
Sources say at least 6 FBI agents linked to the classified documents case at President Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort have been fired. The firings came in the midst of reporting by Reuters that the FBI had subpoenaed the phone records of FBI Director Kash Patel and White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles back when they were private citizens. The FBI did not comment on the firings. The FBI Agents Association claims them unlawful, and they put the nation at greater risk. Iran is accusing President Trump of, quote, big lies about its nuclear program ahead of today's negotiations in Geneva. The Foreign Ministry says Trump's claim about missiles being able to reach the United States is part of a disinformation campaign orchestrated by Israel and the US, but added it is hoping for an agreement through, quote, honorable diplomacy. Trump has repeatedly threatened to attack Iran if those negotiations fail, but Rubio says Trump has not made any decisions on potential military action.
The talks will be largely focused on the nuclear program, and we hope progress can be made, because that's the president's preference.
And here's what to watch. Pamela Smart is launching a dramatic new bid for freedom, challenging her conviction as an accessory to her husband's murder at the hands of her young lover. One of the most sensational trials in America. It's a story of sex, betrayal, and murder that dominated the headlines. Impact by Nightline investigates the crime and the media obsession that followed, asking the question, was justice truly served, and should Pam Smart win her freedom? The Widow and the Wiretap is now streaming right here on Disney+. We have much more what you need to know. Now to take 3, the stories that you'll be talking about today. Number 3, memorial services honoring the Reverend Jesse Jackson begin today in Chicago. The late civil rights leader will lie in repose at the Rainbow Push Coalition headquarters, the organization he founded. Services are planned in Chicago, South Carolina, and Washington, D.C. over the next week. Jesse Jackson died last week at the age of 84. Number 2, we know a lot more about one of the world's smallest dinosaurs. Researchers discovered a nearly complete skeleton of Al-Nashetri, a bird-like dinosaur that lived 90 million years ago. After a decade of research, they now think it could be a missing link for a mysterious group of prehistoric animals. And number 1, after his overtime gold medal winning performance against Canada at the Winter Games, New Jersey Devils fans welcome back Jack Hughes with deafening cheers on their home ice at the Prudential Center. Hughes was honored amongst his fellow Olympians and joined by teammate Tage Thompson. New today, Kilmar Abrego Garcia's attorneys will ask a judge in Tennessee to dismiss charges of human smuggling against him, arguing the case is meritless and simply a vindictive prosecution by the Trump administration to punish him after they were forced to bring him back to the U.S. Abrego Garcia was mistakenly deported to a notorious prison in El Salvador in 2025. He was charged with human smuggling based on a 2022 traffic stop in Tennessee when he was pulled over for speeding with 9 passengers in the car. He denies the charges and has pleaded not guilty. And now, one more thing before you go. A premature baby who spent 9 months in a neonatal intensive care unit has finally come home. And if that weren't celebration enough, this happy ending has a special twist because the baby was treated at a New Jersey hospital by the same doctor who treated her mum when she was born prematurely 30 years ago.
And my mom's eyes lit up and she's like, that's him. And I think in that moment, seeing how happy and excited she was gave me peace of mind.
I can remember with clarity taking care of Chi, and I remember her mom like it was yesterday. And then skip ahead 30 years later, it's almost like deja vu all over again.
Some much needed joy. And that's what you need to know. For breaking news and live updates throughout the day, check out ABC News streaming on Disney+. New episodes streaming every day on Disney+.